You're only making this harder on yourself. Why?
Welcome to a special episode of Gallica Kills Everything, your #1 rated daily weather program from the city of Metropolis, where Gallica kills everything. Tonight we're on assignment here with our remote correspondent Gallica Kimone, and we are fighting the calculator bot. We had come across a fight that was in progress at the time. The fellow that was down here on the ground already had managed to get himself into a point where he had activated the first mechanic, that is the calculator dome. And afterwards, he died. And he never came back. You'll see him over there in the background here in a moment, laying there on the ground, bleeding to death. This isn't all that unusual when it comes down to a fight with Calculator, because Calculator is an absolute fucking monster. And that's really all there is to it. Calculator has so many ways to hurt you. 360 projectile attack, the ability to use orbitals repeatedly, his primary fighting style, which is a combination of hand blast and brawling, means that he can do excellent damage both at long range and close range with just his basic attacks, if he ever chooses to use them, which he frequently does not. He also has the ability to pull you in from virtually anywhere. He has a close range pull and a teleport pull if you happen to get too far outside of his range of combat. You have to move constantly in order to avoid some of his more egregious attacks, and you also have to be prepared for some of the other fuckery that takes place. In addition to that, he also has the ability to inflict a persistent DOT on you, turning your skin into a red digitized form, and just by being under the dome, you are already taking a persistent damage over time that never goes away. The way this battle is intended to be fought is that you follow a mechanic which includes taking down the dome, waiting for Oracle to send in orbital beacons, calibrating the beacons, hitting us with that orbital, and then fighting him until the dome comes back up. Lather, rinse, repeat. This is the, and I'm going to use this term loosely because it is calculator that we're talking about here, but generally seen as the easy way of doing things. It's not the most difficult way that you can do this fight. This is the most difficult way you can do this fight. I thought it would be a good idea to give Gallica her marching orders here, since we were testing out her battle tank loadout. She had recently gotten a few new toys for her might tanking, and we wanted to see what she could do. So we sent her here on assignment, and this is what she came back with. Now, I wouldn't advise doing this with anything except for an endgame character, because it's a very good way to die. The calculator has way too many ways to hurt you. For example, he can summon 8 drones at a time. Each of those drones has an independently fireable ability to put you into a stun prison that you have to break out of manually. In addition to the fact they can all do a little bit of damage to you. You have to kill them immediately or you will probably die. In addition to that, well, you've seen what he's been doing, folks. Just an absolute nightmarish outlay. So, how do you deal with this when you're not using the mechanics? The #1 rule is the #1 rule for a reason. Stay mobile or you will die. He only has a few attacks that are going to target an area that you're in as opposed to targeting you directly, but they can still be avoided, so avoid them. The orbital is probably the strongest of these, and you definitely want to get out of the way whenever you see the orbital telegraph appear on the ground, because if it hits you while he's doing anything else, it will probably kill you in one shot. In addition to that, oh god, that 360 projectile attack allows you to do a little bit of extra damage to you no matter where you're at. The pulls will screw up your movement. The ability to have his little bot drone stun you will put you in a box, and that really screws up your movement. You need to maintain basically continuous damage output while you're maintaining continuous maximized mitigation. You need to have a healing up constantly. You need to have shields whenever possible. You need to have your soda off cooldown. I would not advise using it for power regen in this fight because that is going to get you killed. You need to keep your supply drop off cooldown. I would not advise using it for extra damage in this fight because that will get you killed. Now, granted, this is a little ways back. This is still during the early endgame phase for this content. It is tier 5 content, so you have been locked to a CR range apropos to the items inside of the area, including Calculator. But Calculator, for all that, I would say he's probably the hardest single bounty in the game to complete that is not either Validus or Hydra or another time lock bounty or something along the lines of Merc, where for reasons beyond anyone's comprehension, he's just incredibly strong and incredibly damaging, and I would say probably not correctly calibrated compared to the rest of the things in the area that he's in.
Why do you
That being said, you can beat him. It just requires a lot of concentration, a lot of stick-to-itiveness, and a shitload of building. This is very, very intensive late endgame stuff. This isn't something you're going to be able to do the second your character turns level 30 by any stretch of the imagination. A couple of things to help you live. If you see the drones, and I may have mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again every time they come up, kill them immediately. Those are the most dangerous thing on the board, even though they don't really appear like it. They are the #1 reason why I tell you to deal with ads in other bounty situations, because they will get you killed. Period. In addition to that, you don't want to stay near him. You don't really want to play counter game with him. If the opportunity presents itself cleanly, take it. Never underestimate the power of low-hanging fruit. But, and I cannot stress this enough, don't try to force the contacts, because if you do, you will die in the meantime before you are successful. All that said, this is really one of my favorite bounties in the game. It's an absolute nightmare to complete. There are multiple ways to do it. This is definitely the hardest way to accomplish it, but I tell you, it is very fun. It's turning the slider all the way up to 10, breaking the dial off, and then letting the chips fall where they may. If you want to test a late game tank build for survivability, this is a great way to do it. If you want to test any late game build for survivability, this is a great way to do it. There's a reason why people usually have friends when they come to do this bounty, and this is one of the bounties that will almost always get done on a bounty train, so if it's on your to-do list, don't fret. There will be people around to help you eventually. But if you're trying to do it solo, good luck. It's a doozy. As you can see here, there's guys over there right now, and they haven't even gotten involved yet. They're just watching me fight him right now. Probably because they think I'm a fucking maniac, but we're not going to worry too much about that. They do finally get involved here in a moment, which is fine, because I've got to tell you, 8 minutes of this shit is enough. Holy crap. But at the end of the day, you live by the slay. Now, if you beat Calculator, 8 source marks, reward box, pretty standard fare, and there is definitely a counter beat associated with them, so get yourself a team, come in, and whoop some ass. Well, folks, that's going to be it for this evening. Thank you for joining us on this special late breaking report. Stay safe and good night.